almost freaking out. He like was rapidly telling his team what's going on. The ref had to tap him on the shoulder, say, go shake Reaper 10. Reaper's already standing there just being like, come on, man. Let's get this game going.
Cloud9 clearly have thought about this series a lot. 2 picks they have held the entire time. We talk about mid-Worlds or mid-series adaptation. Cloud9 said they had barely scrimmed the Caitlyn before pulling it out against AHQ for that clinching game. And they were pushed to the brink. They went 3-3 in group stage. So we're living with the possibility that they may have prepped not only the Aurelion Sol, but also the Singed in the last week, just so they could pull it out against Team WE.
In a world where bot lane is king, it is C9 solo laners that are giving us the surprise every game so far. C9, they found a lead in game 1, but could not convert in a very close set. WE, this is the team that I think always toes the line. They know how they want to play. We'll see what happens this time, though.
And for C9 fans, I think it means so much that game 1 was so hyper-competitive. It was so close to winning because a year ago, they walked in as NA's last home against Samsung Galaxy and were blown out of the water. It was about as one-sided a best of 5 as there could ever be. And yet here, they were close. They were so close to winning in game 1. And they're showing us new upon new to try and get a big impression here in game 2.
Exactly. In game 1, with Sneaky doing nearly 1,800 damage per minute and setting a world's all-time record with that stat, it's in contrast to their series score. His series score in last year's quarterfinal was 1 kill and 16 deaths.
Smoothie did not help him out either.
Was 0 kills and 11 deaths. Combined, their bottom lane was 1 and 27. That was much different last game. They are playing at a much higher level. Also thinking about C9 in the grand scheme of things. 4th quarterfinal appearance at Worlds. The 3 times they have been there prior, they have been eliminated on those quarterfinals, only ever winning 2 total games across those 3 years. They're trying to make good on that, and they haven't gotten that win yet. This game will really tell us about the direction of C9.
And Impact already hanging out. He didn't quite tag away from behind the turret, but he's going to meet it nice and early.
Notice that he doesn't actually use the poison gas at all so far. He does not want to start pushing the lane just yet. He wants to get a bit more information. Maokai hasn't shown, so he'll now start pushing.
And I want to emphasize that Singed, when you play it, is actually a counter pick to the Maokai. One of the main ways that Maokai can sustain in the lane is through his Sap Magic passive, where he heals on auto attacks. That cooldown is reduced, but not by Singed, because he just runs and doesn't actually have to cast spells near him.
And the counter pick is especially true in competitive play because, of course, the play you do is with the proxy, the ability to get lane control, get behind the lane and push him in, force Maokai under turret, and then the teleport plays that Maokai wants to make gets so much more tricky.
I will say that was the old Maokai charged with enemy spellcast. The current Maokai charges with his own spellcast, but it is still incredibly difficult for him to ever get the damage profile to take down.
And again, just the lane pattern is Maokai under turret, stuck there, nothing he can do, largely helpless. And again, if you follow previous games, Condi's not going anywhere near that top lane with his less than 3% jungle proximity.
Yes, who is though? Contract's already on that side of the map, cleared out almost fully though by Condi. So we'll see what he does want to do here. And again, back to the bot lane. Mystic playing up an aggressive sneaky tag by a Q. And who's here but Condi?
Yeah, and the Karma can shove in the Taric early on the lane phase. So even though the Kog'Maw you wouldn't think is an advantage matchup against the Trist, it's the duo lane, and the fact that they got the support counter pick, so to speak, by picking Karma into Taric, gives him the ability to pressure this bottom side.
Well, it's very predictable that even their top side focus would return to the vertical jungling that only helped C9 the last.
Consider a dive if they really wanted to.
Big group wave, like you said.
Yeah, mid-lane. Actually just going in on Xie. Xie forced out very quickly.
Just a single auto there. Wouldn't have been kill range, but good sign for C9 as mid lane's become the most isolated lane recently until Contracts makes his first visit to the mid lane side.
Jensen has been lethal on Orianna this year, but the pick is
okay.
So Chesh is here for a counter.
Yeah, looking for a Contract, trying to fill something up. Knocked him. Oh, let's follow! Contract wants it! He's one more slap, Bunny will interrupt! And Contract, he does from first one. Jensen gonna try and escort his jungler to safety. Shield do land in, and he may get away here. Flag drags out.
Amazingly close fight right there. Jensen was waiting on his shield cooldown to save Contracts, but specifically the flash follow on the flag and drag to secure that kill.
Sejuani was rolling into the picture like something from Jaws to turn around the turret dive, but the flash over the Thunderlord struck just enough damage, the cooldown coming back, it all lined up, but it was just barely the right move.
Thunderlord certainly helping out as Contract with a very nice dive. But watch this one again.
Remember, we have the minimap. We know Sejuani's on the way. Contract shows himself now to Sheer. Sejuani wants to get there as fast as possible. They pull the trigger here. Nice flash from Contracts as well.
Perfectly followed him around the corner, but then actually autos the wrong target after Condi hits him. Makes you put the first blood into question, but the cooldowns come back up and they make it alive.
Well, Jensen actually building a nice lane lead as well. Shie did teleport back to the lane, but Hensius down and maybe counting. With the way that Jensen's been playing the lane, certainly have to be careful.
Yeah, and Jensen's brought cleanse into this matchup, which is mainly to prevent himself from getting caught up on Maokai and Sejuani in the late game. It does nothing for his lane phase up against Corki. He's not gone with the heal or the barrier that you often see out of Orianna. So the fact that he pressured so much with that cleanse and not having that really great 1v1 defensive summoner in his back pocket does speak to how good Jensen is on this player.
I would like to talk about how, once again, we've had early vertical jungler that looks like it's probably going to be a ban, probably going to be a bit more even distribution. What I like is that with their pressure on top impact, Invader put down one ward. They also had a second ward in the enemy red side, whereas Sejuani, when she was vertical jungler on the bot side, couldn't get any lasting vision. So they're getting a turret dive, they're getting deep vision, and they're also being able to pick up the momentum. So seeing C9 just once again capitalize on their game plan since groups, the proactive jungle moves. They're doing it better than WE, and the reward so far is first.
Yeah, and the control in the mid lane is huge right now. Jensen's level 6 with a 23 CS lead after she has already teleported.
He's still got his
back
cleanse,
into the lane.
flash up, he's happy to overextend.
Yeah, gonna go spend his gold over the looks of things. Also had Contract to the left of him, so should be okay. Impact currently warding as Contract gets the ward down onto the truck, and again, Impact's pressure now translates here to the counter jungle successfully.
Okay, he has yet to poke 957 down, but he has now entered full proxy mode with the Corki's teleport being down. I feel like unless Corki disappears on the map or has package, Impact probably won't die in any 2v2 and can live back here.
It's another one of those situations where WE need to make a counter play on the map, because right now C9 are naturally winning and capitalizing on that lead top side. Condi predictably is jungling bot side, but the window to make the turret dive play that is always possible when one team is focusing so many resources top side is getting smaller, because Smoothie is at least on the way to level 6.
But this is also extremely dangerous for C9. There is teleport up on 957. Singe is also not in range to interrupt it, and Sejuani could come around the back if he so chose.
The minion wave here is Ben.
Gets the big frog and Smoothie. I thought the surveillance was good enough, but gets a bit extra off that gold lead. It looks like Sneaky's also
C9 just wants mid.
Yeah, Shie just forced off, but
Red buff as well, remember.
Trying to take the turret. But two up now from WE, moving their Karma and their Sejuani towards the area. But again, with how far forward Impact is pushed in that top side, it's actually a very short trip to get to the back of mid lane.
And because of the natural pushing lanes here, specifically the Singe top, first foot forward is always Cloud9, that we do get the answering vision on the bot side, but no sort of tempo swing is available for WE, and C9 keep pushing forward.
And I really wonder when Team W is going to make a play around the bottom side, because they've given up so much pressure top side, but there is a Cloud Drake and a first turret that would juicily be sitting down there that they have yet to attack.
Yeah, Impact though maybe lining up a dive, at least gonna feint it, but walks back towards the wave and takes the proxy. And I kind of agree with you, C9, they're winning their top lane, they're winning their mid lane, and let's call it an even 2v2 in the bot lane. The CS there is even. Yes, Mystic is a strong player. He can get things going and make sure that he can win lanes when he needs to, but all things considered, as we'll ignore that for now, as Impact, he's getting in there.
Feels like it's 2013 all over again. You always wonder with a Singe, which minion wave is too deep to try and dive into Dirty Farm? It's so far behind the inner turret, not quite using the turret just yet.
Yeah, and it's a lot of early pressure for C9 that they need to be able to build on. They now have level 6 on Taric, so this is where you expect them to start making plays. It looks like they're trying to break the mid turret as their first turret of the game.
Oh, Jensen, no, he's aggressive, stop threatening. Contract. Take the Raptor camp. Like another champion there.
And it's interesting, right? Team WE trying to defend this mid lane turret, because tempo-wise, the resiliency that the mid turret has is now gone. Since we're 9 minutes into the game, the fortification buff is off. So they're going to continue to control ward the top side of the map and use that to try and break the mid turret.
Getting mid turret will clearly allow them to continue to play super aggressive around topside, get the deep vision, and maybe Rift Herald will be an easy objective. But how they use Orianna after that can be interesting. She wants a short lane to farm largely, and lane turret going down would end that.
That's a bad look. Probably gets that up. Where's the ulti? Actually might be alive. Cosmic Radiance is good enough. Smoothie stays safe.
So Smoothie ulti down, Smoothie healed down. That has all of their defensive tools off the table. And with the current tempo of the map, Team WWE should be able to take this one. Not sure why Sneaky's staying around.
He's blocking, Dazzle not enough though. Damage back from Ben. Conti trying to take the ward down, but Sneaky letting it go.
Trying to buy time for his jungler to get back here and for the turret to stay up. It's already below half. Jarvan's far away.
Yeah, incredibly difficult to hold this turret. So WWE does focus around the bottom side to get a lot of it down. Teleport, they want to dive.
Buster shot from Sneaky, disengages Mystic as WWE are going to take it down. Good cancel from Jie actually, who was the one TPing in. Mystic collects that juicy first turret gold.
That is the proper play for Team W. They also have the Cosmog, who will be hitting Rage Blade relatively soon in the mid game, especially if he's able to go and get more free farms. So the fact that even though C9 is playing around that mid lane, around that top lane aggressively, that they didn't break those turrets means they have to break them soon if they want this to be won.
The aggression isn't getting them as a global gold, but it has got Singed a Haunting Guise, which is a very interesting first purchase here. Expecting Cal answering from 957, but already very offensive in the build. We're expecting Catalyst, we're expecting there to still be the Abyssal Mask. The order currently is left up to the eyes of the beholder.
Yeah, magic penetration is good on Singe because he does such a large amount of magic damage and gets a lot of base stats from his ultimate. So it is absolutely a defensible build, but we want the multiple Spectres cows to come through in the late game. I just feel like Impact's not planning on interacting with so much later, so it's still damage from him.
Found each other. WWE already runs up. C9 though are going to finally make the play. Turret is low. WWE can't really defend this safely. Sneaky has enough damage to take it down. C9, the eventual trade, front outer, first goal to Mystic, but they do take mid outer.
Still a trader. Mid lane turret is always take over a bot lane turret. Unfortunately not to get the first turret gold, but really only thing that WWE have to show for themselves.
Smithy, where does Jensen go to get this farm now? He wants to relatively be in a short lane. The cleanse will help him be much safer against Convi Sejuani in these fights, especially since he is so far from the item. He can threaten him off with his damage as well.
I mean, one small point we can say is he can play to the top side, play to all the control wards he has, play towards and a Rift Herald. That objective has now spawned. The bot side of the map, that's a little bit murkier for the Orianna, who, as I mentioned, is really good.
Well, they might go for it now. Clawing shield down.
Dive down, a good split from Impact. Jensen just needs to find the ulti. Wakes it up. Great flash from 957.
They still can think about going for the next one, but the longer they show through people out here, the more they're going to lose that inner turret down bottom.
He's also getting ganked, Mystic Man, and now Conti's getting the floor. Contract does take out 957. Burns his flash to get out from under the turret. C9 should take this down, but WWE going to get their trade. They take it tier 2 first.
They put everything into taking down the Malphite and turret. Could lose more than just one. We can't see the turret HP in mid. It has to be falling low to the Sheen Corki. They only now pick up out of top lane turret. And gold is even.
Exactly. They're probably going to lose it shortly because Team WWE has the inside track to the mid lane. That is not a trade-up. You could argue that the top lane outer turret could be better than the tier 2 bottom unless the mid lane turret falls as well. Simple math, 2 is greater than 1.
Correct.
Team WWE gets the advantage.
The whole game plan of C9 for the first 13 minutes was take down mid lane turret. They kept rotating through it, diving through it. So for them to have an answering turret there for WWE really equalized the pressure, and if anything, gives WWE a nose in front after C9 was proactive.
And despite, again, the surprises that we have shown us in draft so far, this game has certainly continued in a much more expected fashion. Sneaky and Smoothie trying to defend and staying safe, but all of the attempts for WWE goes onto Mystic. So in this kind of metagame, given now that the expected thing has happened, do C9 have enough in their solo lane to bring this game, or are WWE just going to keep being WWE?
Well, the precedent hasn't really been set when you have a Leandri's first item sit in the top lane as far as how the rest of this game is going to play out. Because if they do not kill that Singed, he will actually shred through a lot of people, no matter who he fights, but he will be squishy at this stage of the game. So he's got to worry about that rage really hot target sensor, as is always the case, since he gets to go mad to the
Lots of praises this tournament. I didn't expect to say, like, at 14 minutes, a Leandri is helping take down a Rift Herald whose percentage damage, standard things in the 2017 Worlds meta. Rift Herald, like we mentioned, was likely to be a prize for C9 with all their pressure top side. And they still are top side as Ben might come and face check.
The biggest prize though is of course Mystic does have some double attack. Connect CC Connect. But right after Cosmic Radiance to extend the fire. Does go into the oh, back up 2 seconds. Is real long. Again, who's TP'd up as well, but here comes Jensen re-engaged inbound. Contacts in. 957 with a great outfit back. back into the Dazzle. He's going to find the take, and that's going to be a kill.
You can see the squishiness of Impact actually hurting there. He flashed for a flip, which ended up being the last hit onto Mystic, but C9 ended up winning that fight by eventually getting everyone there and getting the jump onto Mystic in the first place.
Don't have minion waves pushing though, so it is only 2 kills for 1, and Jensen's on a walk.
The old
Summoners.
Oh, walks away. WWE does not enough there, despite the Trinity Force finished on Gia, who TP'd into that fight. A little too threatening again. He's had such a good laning phase here.
Yeah, but another critical thing about that fight is the fact that Team WWE burned Flash on all of their carries, and C9 did not. So watch that Cataclysm cool down for Contracts, because they can combo that with the Shockwave in the next fight and make a big combo. So that's a big edge they'll have going into the next fight.
Gonna see the replay, and you mentioned, let's see some data points about what Leandri's first Sejuani can do in any sort of a fight. We're gonna see the replay. And Mystic takes a lot of damage, but actually the terrain stops sneaking and getting autos on priority targets. Finally the Cinch comes in, assassinates Kog'Maw, no other way to put it. Like you mentioned, he bolts.
Yeah, he flash flipped, but then he was in the middle of the entire Team WWE team and didn't have the Taric ultimate or the Taric shields to go hit him, and Jensen hadn't quite arrived there yet.
Small adaptations. You see that your enemy team has used their summons. They're going to want the group to minimize any of the chances of actually being caught out. Should have been a free Drake. It was taken during the replay. But the moment you have a massive summoner advantage, enemy team doesn't want to fight.
Impact might consider going a little aggressive depending on how he does his damage.
Well, Riftel takes care of the turret at least, so doesn't need to be there. JW though still going as sneaky, forced away by Nature's Grasp. But WWE, they shred turrets at this point.
They're playing PvE. They're going focused on the turret. Jensen's going to come in, but the turret's already be dead.
Because he might have to be the one to make it happen. He'll really engage to help Oriana get in there for the Dazzle. 5-2. Ulti got by Smoothie, but it's defensive. He's already quite low. Slow. He's going to connect the start. Goes there as well. And Mystic snipes with the living artillery. WWE will not be deterred as Project. He makes play in Jensen. He's so late. He just can't get in range for his ulti. But gets the range to himself. What a lane falls for WWE.
Timing for C9 has been a little bit off, but you could see the idea of the play for C9. They end up losing that fight in the grand scheme of things, 2 for 2 and losing their turret.
But after the surprising nature, the twists and turns of Game 1, I think Game 2 has been quintessential WE at Worlds 2017 versus C9, specifically WE. Whenever their laners, specifically Mystic, breaks the turret early or even loses the turret, they always go and group with support, AD carry, and try and just barrel down objectives, get the immediate gold. They barreled down here, and Smoothie had to ult so early.
And it was a 3v4 when they stepped up to that turret with the Jensen flank. Jensen would need to go with Contracts early on for that to matter, because what they probably said in comms, no flashes on the support and AD carry, get him in Cataclysm. They did it, it worked in the end, but it was way too disorganized in the initiation.
And I just feel that opting into these trades where you're getting immediate gold onto Mystic, he's going to kill, he's going to involve in the 5 turrets, of course, means that he's hitting his power spikes a lot earlier, predictably, of course, than Game 1. And this is WE playing their game plan, whereas C9 splitting the map and not getting the same sort of objective lead that perhaps the dirty farming Singe in the early game may have suggested they could have won.
And despite the attractive scoreline for Sneaky, he's still almost 1,000 gold behind Mystic thanks to a very large CS deficit. So again, such a great struggle of power here between the two teams. Soul ends up for C9, but Mystic up for WE, and you almost always put money on WE when that happens.
And this is how the gold graph always looks. Doesn't matter if 3 people are down, if Mystic is ahead. Concentrated power on a soon-to-be a Relic Shield 2-item Kog'Maw. It's just fine for WE. They want to fight.
Good job. Get out actually a little bit by Condi. Sneaky lost the shot early. He's dead, wrapped in, and Mystic. Oh, look, he got the last kill.
Condi played that perfectly, interrupted the jump mid-air with the stun, and also moved in an area where the knockback wouldn't answer him. Just a pure outplay from Condi. Great stuff from him. Going to take the jungle as well, and Sneaky being off the map means that all map pressure goes to WE.
And you are seeing teams getting better at catching Tristana in rocket jumps, and more was
MLXD yesterday.
MLXD yesterday, Condi just now, and Mystic getting extremely ahead. That 60 CS advantage as well as the last hit on this kill. Let's watch this one more time.
Gets the stun up. Look when he used it. Sit catches him in the air, and watch this Tristana. Wants to hold him away. Condi had already postured in front, so would of course keep the gap closed there. Perfect stuff. The Sejuani player there, and things now are starting to fall apart a little bit for C9.
Certainly in that bottom section of the map, Mystic 2 items now completed. Runan's Hurricane Once again, the second. I think he's working on Fish is a little bit far behind, although Impact is making a go of this.
Yeah, he's got a large experience advantage on 957, but with the Spectre's Cal on any tank, you're generally living for a fairly long time. Let's see if Impact can get away from this large beat.
The rest of the team is coming, and Connie still has ulti. Nature's Grass has to outplay one.
Run it.
They keep running away. Oh my goodness, he's still.
And that's with Baron spawning. Everyone shows she can scout this and they can teleport in, but how much does C9 want to commit, knowing that WE showed everyone down bottom?
They have to burn it. Well, they are 957 recalls first. No, then they burn the TP. WE decide not to contest.
You don't see Singe for a while, and what do you remember? Never chase that Singe, but the timer, Jat, the timer meant that the maximum punishment was available to C9.
How does that happen? A 20-minute respawn against an Arden Sensor Terran. They chase Singe and they put C9 back into this game.
Every time to fight as well, C9 can find the angle with Sneaky. Something that's going to happen. Gets Snow with a good ultimate clip. GA doesn't quite steal the kill though. But C9 again, despite still being behind in gold, despite Sneaky still leading farm, there'll be an Inferno to take in a minute, and with Baron, they need to do damage and equalize the turret difference.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Impact with just Mercury Treads and Rylai 7. He's got a lot of damage, but please, now you need to start building some more magic resist to deal with Mystic and Xie, because he can be such a force in these team fights with just an adaptive helm if he builds that as his almost lone tank item. Since C9 needs that teamfight power, so much of their farm is concentrated onto Impact. He's got an 800 gold on 957.
He also has a Baron buff, which given how fast Singe can push and the fact that he has this burn build complete with Rylai's and Leandri's, they're going to have to make very quick plays with the Maokai, otherwise they will have insane punishment in the side lane with how fast he pushes. It's a much more damaging Singe than you're used to when there's no mana item.
And I can't wait for this late game because anything could happen depending on how Impact decides to play this game. C9 has good scaling with the Orianna and the Trish, but Team W has spectacular scaling with the Kog'Maw and the Quartz.
Grounding onto Mystic, Poke again coming through, and C9 trying to just take the turret down. Gets it with the ball in front of him. Who's to the front side? Gentle contract zone. Is it going to re-engage? Switch it! Oh no! Mystic for the team down the carries the safety here. Also low Mystic blocking up there as Impact just barely slips to the rest of the onside of Jensen. And the takedown tank one is Sneaky. Jumps in to finish the fight.
Cosmic Radiance landed on everyone, even Contracts barely on the AoE of that spell. That means they can just turn forward, brute force. They still got Baron, remember?
Mystic also burned both summoner spells once again. C9 playing this really confidently, knowing the recalls are there for Team W's cares.
One turret down, gonna make it two. Inhibitor also very vulnerable. Conti trying to do something on the backline, but he rejoins the team. Mystic though back in action.
Pretty greedy by C9.
Throws down. Pistol's good enough there for Xie. Now it's full retreat. Jensen, no ulti for a while. Sneaky forced to flash away. Turns back in. Wants to try to take down Xie. Oh no! Doesn't down. Mystic seals it.
With an Infernal Drake on the table, C9 tried to stick around to kill the inhibitor. That was straight up greedy.
Shockwave's almost back.
Finds it. Gets it. Oh my god! Contract double up and turn around again. Smoothie cutaway. No! Jensen does Mystic once again. Still in debt. Mystic Pokemon does work. But now a 1v2. 957 back in contact. He flashes it into the waiting arm of 957. And all right, it's done. Yeah, Contact just gonna chill it out.
This game is decided by inches. That's now 2 kills I can remember that Mystic's final auto attack post-flash has given him a last hit. The turnaround by C9 there by the Shockwave, nearly massive, but both teams walk away. Infernal Drake still up.
It was such a deep teleport from the Maokai. 957 coming in with the home guards, looks for the target. The correct target is Deceptive. He goes on specifically to, I believe, the rocket jumping Tristana, but the fact that the Cosmic Radiance hits everyone means to re-engage. It's huge.
And it's just a lethal combo with Orianna and Jarvan. Last game, so many people had a hard time getting past the front line. Orianna Jarvan can bypass that. They then focus down 957, rocket jump forward. Impact narrowly missed his flash flip onto Xie's Corki, but then this is an overstay. Impact down on the flank, disrespecting Xie's burst.
They tried to greed for the inhibitors so early in the game, but it could mean free objectives in the future. Remember, this fight all ended with the Maokai backing. That's how long it was. It's WE in the picture-in-picture do pick up the Infernal, which was expected to be the trade as that kind of pandemonium started.
Well, certainly we'll be happy with that given how late game 1 went. Only about 25 minutes into this one. And Baron will be respawning again in like a minute or two, I think, given that C9 took it basically on the dot. So once again, Baron buff dropped off. Next objective traded over to WE. Gold sitting at even as the teams scale up. C9, they do have an open inhib that they can attack. And Impact is going down to that bot side, so we'll see how C9 kind of play their next step.
Impact wants to kill him. It's going to be a 1v2. He's probably going to have to turn around.
You're also flanking? Question mark? Not quite.
Some questionable map positions there by Impact. Actually really good positioning by Condi to cover Shie on that push. No jungle available, really just runs into the lane just in case.
I want to posit this to you, Jap. Where the items are at right now in a 5v5 fight with no gold lead, to me the difference between a won fight and a lost fight for C9 is the Cosmic Radiance timing. Singed right now is a damage threat, does have situational tankiness with the ult, but the Cosmic Radiance allowing them to actually take the brunt of the early damage seems to me the difference. And we've had some great Taric play, we've had much more, I would say, questionable Taric play. They do have momentum, they can use the ult proactively, but to me, that's his time.
And you also have to wonder how the team fights are going to play out, because 957 doesn't have the disengage after he initially goes in. Even though his teleport is up, that's the question. Can you fake the engage to get the Taric ultimate up? Because if they go in for the engage, Smoothie counters it with ultimate, and then their carries are still in range for a Cataclysm Shockwave combo, C9 has a huge advantage in those fights if it plays out like that, but it doesn't have to. WE can play a little bit of in and out, and when Mystics flashes up, it is all the more lethal.
Yeah, that's the timing when they probably feel like they can push out a little bit further. To me, that is the big factor, so they have at least one reset for the inevitable Cataclysm into Orianna Shockwave combo. That's time to push up.
Perfect actually onto Ben. Always good to take out the Arden if you can. Dazzle not angled quite enough as Ben blast turns off to safety. Impact does get a lot of work pushing down towards that side. And Contract pretty tanky with the adaptive helm, actually face takes Shie.
Yeah, when they can get multiple adaptive helms, it will be huge for them this game. It is very difficult for WE to break through the damage here. Also, Mystic was forced into a head shrinker because he doesn't want to get one shot by that Shockwave combo.
Well, good for C9. Actually equalize the turret difference finally. As they take down the bot tier 2. Baron up in 13 seconds. Condi knows what that means. It's time to grab some vision.
And I heavily think that with the recurve, I was going to say Wit's End to get even more magic than this, but now they have already completed the Bilgewater, so I'm going to try and power through the Singe. The armor purchases are probably quite far away.
Yeah, I think so much of it does just have to do with lifesteal if they're expecting these to be long fights. There's a tank line that he's trying to cut through. The Wit's End will help reduce the magic resist, but just literally lifesteal is so important for Mystic to always be at full health. Full health plus a locket shield means the Shockwave probably doesn't kill him.
And I take that point well, because Ginsu's Rage, the Hurricane, so many different lifesteal appliers, you probably out lifesteal damage better than you actually reduce damage. Something like the Wit's End.
Mystic about to be spotted in top lane though in C9. That's probably their cue to retake vision around the Baron. Speed train is WE's. They'll have some unsweepable vision for about 40 seconds, but again, Pink Ward's being placed. C9 looking like happy to force here despite the gold being even. They know their kind of timings have been hit pretty well, and for some fumbles in the early game, now looking very good in the mid.
You can see what sort of play pattern Sneaky wants to play. He's gone for QSS and delayed further damage because he wants to be able to take those extra autos with explosive rush it and try to take turrets. But yeah, they're trying to rush Baron basically off spawn.
And this is with Mystic in base. That's why they're rushing, but they have to worry about the steal. It could just be a straight up 50-50.
That's
what yesterday.
Now they're going to pull on, look for an engage. Contract has found one. Dazzle will hit. Move back into the team. 957 getting shredded down. Cosmic Radiance. See that continue to play. Mystic though does get out, flushes out to safety. 957 somehow lives. Impact getting shredded down for the rest of the match. But then knock him onto Ben to take him down. Sneaky still good as Impact still somehow alive. How did that even happen? Almost two dead on the side of WE.
957 has been starved of farms thanks to facing up against a Singe, so they actually have a ton of burst damage to get on him early. The question is, how do they turn back to Baron? The Taric Baron is insane. He heals everyone up with the Ardent Sensor and his Q.
Condi's going to have to go for heroic steals down to 4,000 already.
They don't even see it.
Late TP, Condi, feel it through. Take it down, but now the fight could start off. Mystic, no flash, has to play aggressive. Impact, tries to move the rest of the team away. C9 of the track
is free hitting.
Tries to disengage. Sneaky, took down Condi, and they're going to make it out to safety. Actually keep going, Cloud9. I think they know they can make something happen here. Dazzle is good, finds 957, stuns him up there.
Look on!
Oh my goodness, they caught Mystic, shed wave and the assassination. Now Shea, the next to go down. Jensen with a crucial double kill.
Impact Singe drifts through the team to get into melee range of Kog'Maw and flip him back. Things you didn't expect to say today, Papa Smithy, is the theme. Huge play by C9 as they take Baron.
What I'm not surprised about, though, Jack, is the accuracy from Jensen on the shockwave. They have basically been targeted abilities. There was no information for Condi at this point. He comes in at perfect time, could not steal it. They have to kind of force the price into a fight here on WE.
The guesswork by Condi was insane that it was even that close, but he doesn't get it, and then it's the fight that is sneaky on the side. Doesn't quite get focused in WE, is unable to actually select the right target, knowing they never got the last hit, and then the empowerment of the Taric as well as the Orianna emboldened Sneaky to run forward.
And just little things from Singe, like the brief grounded effect stopped the Porky from using the Valkyrie as early as he would have liked. Still taking off on the back end. This Singed pick is surprising WE in multiple ways. Even to start that whole passage, 957 with Flash Up thought he could walk up, threatened and engaged by space. He was flung into the team, and even the Flash couldn't get him out healthy.
And look, WE were not lacking for damage from their carries in that fight, but somehow in execution around a very tense Baron, it is C9 that come out on top.
And a blind pick Singe is the sort of thing that will annoy the hell out of the coach of WE. Owen will have to decide, do we have to ban it? If they're willing to blind pick it and we don't have a strategy for it, that might have to just be a permanent ban.
Yeah, and remember, it was blind picked after so many of the other top laners were banned away. Shogath was banned, Shen was banned, Gnar was banned. It felt like Maokai was the only pick left, and that's exactly what C9 got. They're going in!
Yeah, Mystic, no flash. They're just going to try and get a shot. Then Jensen assassinates Mystic just with the ultimate, and they break the bottom in-him turret. C9 not done as Impact, looking for a flip. Maybe a little too far forward, but still, defense is there. He's actually so tanky with the help of his team, and 957 is not so lucky. Sneaky finds the next kill.
C9 might look to push this for the win. Tank line down, Mystic down. They're pushing.
Don't need Corky for wave clear.
Baron Buff's still good. CA needs to play the defense of a lifetime to try and let this one happen. Condi trying to dive back in, but C9 peel away. He gets so sneaky. Oh, they take him down. Flash for crit. Does seal CA's death. And the next is open as Cloud9 tied up. Gentlemen, we have a series.
Mixing the old with the new. Jensen's Orianna, probably his best pick this year. And then out of the blue, Impact Singed is something that Team WE is unable to deal with. The team fight coordination was a little bit lacking in game one. C9 found the combo here in game two.
They found the combo by pulling from the history book such a vintage pick from Impact from back on his SKT T1 Team 2 days. Not even T1K, not even the eventual SK Telecom